Good morning, Canada. Meteorologist Nicole Karkic with you, taking a look at our top stories. The impressive nor'easter totals which really hit you in the Atlantic Canada region. The next snow event is moving in, though. We have to talk about who is seeing systems next. And warm streak ending for the west. We've been basking in double-digit highs. Major school closures across the Maritime provinces yesterday. Government buildings closed too. Buses not running. So it really came to a standstill, which I understand was good news for a lot of people because there were hardly any people on the roads, and so that made it a lot safer. Moncton, the winner here, I guess, depending on how you look at it, 39 centimeters of snow, 117 kilometer-an-hour winds, so one of the hardest hit areas. Sydney, 17 centimeters of snow for you and 76 kilometer-an-hour winds. And yes, we do still have some warnings in place, but the bulk of the storm has moved out. It's exiting. We have some freezing rain warnings, which include Halifax, east side of PEI as well. This could be freezing rain or ice pellets. It will end by the end of the afternoon, and we still have Newfoundland in a blowing snow advisory for the western shores of Newfoundland. The freezing rain in the central part of the island, that too will wind down this afternoon. Also a big bump in temperatures. We're going to see rain continuing for Newfoundland. St. John's, we could get up to 7 degrees this afternoon, and tonight it will still be mild enough for that rain to be lingering, and a trough swinging through will still bring us some scattered flurries for parts of Nova Scotia. But again, today, a lot easier to travel and get around. This morning, if you're in Moncton, -8, Halifax, -1. Look at Quebec. Nice conditions for you. Montreal, yes, it's cold, but sunshine throughout the entire day. And a sunny afternoon for southern Ontario. However, northwestern Ontario, a few snowfall warnings just prompted in places like Kenora and Dryden. We're going to be seeing about 10 to 15 centimeters of snow moving through. Then it sinks south towards the Nickel Belt. By Thursday afternoon, it's hitting southern Ontario hard. Those 400 series highways impacted for the afternoon commute. And then for the morning in Ottawa on Friday towards Montreal, that's when you're still going to be seeing some snow. So just give yourself a little extra time. Into Friday, about 10 to 15 centimeters of snow in the north, and the same thing towards the south. It's a general 5 to 10 centimeters. Stay with us. Good news is a lot of people stayed off the roads yesterday across New Brunswick. A lot of the snowplows also were being pulled off the roads in New Brunswick because it just wasn't safe. Looking at the radar now, still stuff is going on, yes, but the worst is over. We've got northern New Brunswick seeing some snow, some mixing and freezing rain in through central Newfoundland where there are warnings in place, but mild enough into the afternoon that you're going to see rain in St. John's. So these are the warnings. Blowing snow advisories still for the western shores of Newfoundland, and there's the freezing rain also I want to mention in Nova Scotia, including Halifax. Let's go to Moncton, New Brunswick, where Chrissy Van is joining us. And boy, you did such a great job yesterday braving those winds, and it's looking a lot calmer today. Good to hear. Thanks, Chrissy. We'll check in with her again to see how people have been dealing with the storm since yesterday. As we look at the additional snow, it's not too much. We've got under 5 centimeters in New Brunswick, maybe 5 to 10 just north of Yarmouth. And yes, the freezing rain here for Newfoundland. Temperature-wise, we're looking at +2 in Halifax into the afternoon, so above average. Looking at Quebec quickly, Montreal, it is a sunny afternoon. It's -10, and they were getting out there to just deal with the rapid snowfall. Boston itself, 74 centimeters of snow just outside of Boston. 3 feet on the ground. New York City, a little bit less. It just missed it with 29 centimeters of snow, so not as much as expected. This afternoon in Ontario, especially in the south, really nice afternoon to get out there. You're going to feel the warmth of the sun. It's -4, and as we look to Ottawa, you're -9, but lots of sunshine. However, there is a system coming through for tomorrow. It will be tomorrow afternoon that places like London up to Toronto, Hamilton, and Cottage Country will start to see the snowfall. So it's not the morning commute tomorrow, it's the afternoon commute, and then it'll be late in the afternoon that it hits Ottawa, and it will continue for your Friday morning. Note areas around the Nickel Belt could see 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. It's already starting this afternoon, though, in northern Ontario, where there are snowfall warnings in place. This afternoon, Thunder Bay is -1, Marathon is -2. There is a warm front associated with this low, so that's why we're seeing the milder temperatures in the north. Overall, it's 10 to 15 centimeters, however, so it is going to be messy travel conditions through northern Ontario. as we head into your Friday morning.
Winds pretty much shut life down. Here's a recap. So we were generally calling 15 to 30, locally 40 centimeters of snow. Moncton, look at that 117K wind and about 40 centimeters of snow. Another 5 to 10 today.
That's right. So the numbers could go up a little bit. Through the afternoon, we're definitely clearing through the Maritime provinces. Western shores of Newfoundland, though, still seeing some strong winds today.
Icy roads, blowing snow, freezing rain. That's your concern, especially for the morning. Now, in the U.S., New York City, 29, but down on Long Island, far more than that. And we still have some more snow to go for the East Coast, but not too much more. The worst over. Let's talk about the West. We've got a clipper moving through, and this boundary is separating the record-breaking temperatures to the cooler air, 10 to 15 centimeters from Melfort, Saskatchewan to Barons River, and then the snow eases. And Nicole.
Big Arctic high sinking down. We're going to see a huge drop in temperatures by the weekend. And you can see here, there are snowfall warnings in place in through the Interlake region of Manitoba, 10 to 15 centimeters into Thursday morning. Also parts of Saskatchewan tonight getting into the snow. Not cold enough yet in Alberta, but you're going to get there.
You're going to get there. Now, northwestern Ontario, mild today, but there's going to be a price, probably some freezing drizzle, certainly some snow as the front from the prairies moves in. So 10 to 15 centimeters of snow, and then through the evening and overnight, that moves into northeastern Ontario. And then, Nicole, look at tomorrow.
So Thursday afternoon is when southern Ontario is going to see the worst travel conditions with 5 to 10 centimeters on the way. Toronto over towards Ottawa, and Ottawa and Montreal, this will linger into that Friday morning commute for you. Look towards the north where 10 to 15 centimeters will fall in the hardest hit areas, and then towards the south with a lot of people traveling. It's going to be a big headache Thursday night and Friday morning.
Good winter's day.
Exactly. -4 in Toronto. That's going to be a nice one. Looking ahead to Thursday, we're following this system, and then it does tracks into Atlantic Canada. Good morning, Canada. Meteorologist Nicole Karkic with you. There are developing stories. There's an impressive nor'easter totals to look at. The next snow event is moving in for you in Ontario and Atlantic Canada, so not much of a break. And the warm streak is coming to an end for the west, with places like Regina hitting -16 on Saturdays. Moncton, New Brunswick, where it's a lot calmer today, and I'm wondering, are the streets getting any busier because people are getting back to normal? So a bit of everything. Thanks so much, Chrissy. We'll check in with her again. And there were closures yesterday around Moncton for the Trans-Canada Highway, as well as near Truro, Nova Scotia for the Trans-Canada Highway. So some closures. Lots of people stayed off the roads, though, yesterday. That was the good news. The totals, Moncton, 39 centimeters. Those are your wind gusts, 117 kilometers an hour. This is as of 3 a.m. local time. So these numbers will start to go up because we're seeing a little bit more snow. Sydney picked up 17 centimeters and some strong winds for you. For today into the morning, we do have freezing rain warnings for Halifax, for parts of PEI around Queens County and central Newfoundland. Also some freezing rain warnings, blowing snow advisories for the western shores of Newfoundland, and Labrador City does have extreme cold warning. It feels like -46, so there are schools closed today in that area, and still some closures in Newfoundland, as well as late starts because of the cleanup mode in Newfoundland today. Let's go to Kelly Noseworthy, who's joining us right now in southern Ontario. Kelly, what can you tell us? Thanks, Kelly. So we'll check in with her again. And the snow moving into northern Ontario. Wawa on a snowfall warning. We've got Thunder Bay over towards Sudbury and an area seeing up to 15 centimeters of snow. Time now to share your weather on Twitter as well as Facebook. I'm asking people to send photos of their weather, and then you'll get a personalized forecast. So this one, what a great shot, isn't it? Very Canadian. That's what it says. Canada A. This is from Hunter Brown, who is in the Woodstock, New Brunswick area. Well, with the nor'easter moving through yesterday, he was shoveling, I'm sure, for hours. The forecast for you, Hunter, into the afternoon today, -9. We'll see some scattered flurries. Things certainly moving out. We've got northwesterly winds sustained at 20 kilometers an hour. And as far as tomorrow goes, temperatures are going to be getting a little bit warmer. We'll be -5 as we head into tomorrow. But then for the weekend, another storm on the way, which will bring you about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow on Friday alone. Another shot right here, which I found on our website, theweathernetwork.com. We've got a great shot in Nova Scotia here. You can see that we've got him enjoying the snow. Let's head now to Mark Robinson, who was stateside during the storm. And some other areas were hit pretty hard. This is in Boston. Coming up on the program, we'll tell you how much snow they picked up and who's seeing snow next in Canada. Additional snowfall through parts of the Maritime provinces, but the system has really exited out of the area, still impacting Newfoundland pretty hard. We've got some strong winds for the western shores of Newfoundland and some freezing rain. Note that pink just passing through places like Corner Brook, and that snow still in northern New Brunswick. Let's head to Moncton right now, where Chrissy Van is joining us. And even though I know there's still some school closures across New Brunswick, it does look like it's so much busier than yesterday. All right, so still tough getting around across the Maritimes. There are lots of school closures as well for parts of Nova Scotia, as well as a lot of events being postponed or canceled. That includes PEI. And for places like the Bonavista region, there are some delayed school starts. And for Labrador City, we do have an extreme cold warning for you. So Labrador West does have some school closures today because of the extreme cold. So a lot still going on. Anything in this light blue is our blowing snow advisories, which extends over towards the Gaspé Peninsula. This is the additional snowfall. A lot more in the northern peninsula for Newfoundland. We've got 10 to 20 centimeters more to go. Under 5 generally for New Brunswick, and about 5 to 10 north of Yarmouth. This afternoon, temperatures 2 degrees in Halifax. And look at St. John's. Rain because 7 degrees. Yeah, you're not going to get snow with that. Montreal. New York City itself didn't get hit too hard. 29 centimeters of snow, but Boston 74 centimeters on the ground. It impacted travel with over 1.5 million people impacted by just the travel alone. Let's head to Kelly Noseworthy right now in Southern Ontario. Thanks so much. That's right. It is a chilly start, but by the afternoon, guess what? The sun is coming out. It's going to be quite nice, relatively speaking. We've got -4 in Toronto, -9 in Ottawa, North Bay at -10. But then the snow comes for us tomorrow across Southern Ontario, impacting the evening commute. This afternoon, it's in Northern Ontario. Good morning, Canada. Nicole and Chris with you. We're following the nor'easter totals.
Yes.
Who got the most? That's coming up. And next snow event is moving in, as well as the warm streak ending for the west.
Yes, the January thaw coming to a close. My goodness, Nicole, that's a nor'easter.
That is a my goodness. We're joined now by Chrissy Van, who's in Moncton, New Brunswick. And Chrissy, have you been talking to anyone to see how they dealt with yesterday's big storm?
People really just had to hunker down, stay home, and wait for those winds to calm and the snow to stop falling.
That's right, and a lot of things delayed or closed today again as cleanup continues.
That's
Chris.
a lot of snow. Just want to mention very quickly, if you are going to be venturing outdoors and you spin out, and because of all the snowbanks, if your back end of your car is against the snowbank, you want to turn the car off, because you know what's coming out of that tailpipe is carbon monoxide.
Right.
And you don't want that to come in the car.
No, you don't.
Look at these totals.
I know, Moncton 39 centimeters, so the winner, depending on how you look at it. Let's move next to Southern Ontario, Chris, where we have Kelly Noseworthy joining us in the cold to start the day. Thanks, Kelly, and that's right. Snow in the north, moving towards the south tonight. Certainly do, Chrissy. And yes, everything getting back up and running to normal, but still a lot of school closures across the Maritime provinces and a lot of delayed starts for certain offices, and some events I was reading about are postponed for tonight. A little bit more snow to go in northern New Brunswick. You can see with that blue. For Nova Scotia, Halifax, the freezing rain warning for you was just dropped, but still some freezing rain warnings in effect through central Newfoundland, as you can see right here. It does include places like Gander, and the western shores of Newfoundland has blowing snow advisories, and that extends over towards the Gaspé Peninsula. Freezing rain still in PEI, a potential for this morning. And the additional snowfall, as Chrissy mentioned, not too much. We've got under 5 for New Brunswick, generally under 5 for Nova Scotia, a little bit more for the northern peninsula with 10 to 20 centimeters left, and the stronger winds really are centered there. And Labrador, we do have some late starts around Labrador City because of the extreme cold. Now this afternoon, Montreal, you are -10 with some sunshine though, so not too bad. Look at the mild air here in Halifax, 2 degrees. St. John's, rain and 7. Might see some record-breaking temperatures in Newfoundland. This afternoon in Ontario, we're looking at some milder air moving in. Not too bad. We're going to see the sun come out, but this morning, as Kelly Noseworthy can attest, it's a brisk start. Yeah, you're definitely prepared, and that's good advice. You can always get rid of one. Now, there is snow coming for us in Ontario. Northern Ontario getting hit first. Wawa is in a snowfall warning. Then it shifts towards the Nickel Belt later today. By tomorrow afternoon, that's when the cottage country down towards the Greater Toronto region, extending towards Ottawa, we'll start to see that snow picking up. So tomorrow evening is a messy commute right into Friday morning. And Friday morning really will still impact Ottawa and Montreal. So some cold air in place for the east. Montreal -10 this afternoon, but some nice sunshine. A little bit milder there in Halifax at 2 degrees. Look at St. John's 7. And the cold air is coming through the Prairie provinces by this weekend. Good morning. Big stories in the east. We'll look at those impressive totals from the nor'easter that you saw. The next system is moving in. We'll tell you when. And Chris, I'll leave you to this one.
Warm streak coming to an end for the west. The January thaw is no more 20 degrees in Lethbridge. All right.
There he is with the bad news.
When I think of nor'easter, that's what I think of. Chrissy, we got reports of a school bus in Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia, spinning out as well, so we don't know the latest on that. But have you been noticing any cars spinning out where you are?
All right, we'll get back to Chrissy in a moment, hear what she has to say.
All right.
But the total, she was in Moncton, 39 centimeters, and Chris, the winds 117 kilometers an hour.
That was the peak. Halifax didn't see as much snow, but of course you had some freezing rain. The freezing rain warning is now over for you. The valley had about 25 centimeters of snow. Freezing rain, therefore, in and around Truro and up towards the eastern two-thirds, so Queens and Kings County, PEI, pardon me, and still freezing rain, blowing snow, and wind warnings for parts of Newfoundland.
Yeah, so still looking pretty messy there. This afternoon, though, really mild in St. John's, 7 degrees for that daytime high. And tonight, we're still going to see some lingering flurries with a trough moving through Nova Scotia and the western shores of Newfoundland as well. But still that threat for some freezing rain through the central part of the island. Now, looking stateside at that storm, Chris, it was a big one. Totals there were impressive, with Boston getting 74 centimeters of snow. Let's move next to southern Ontario, where no snow yet, Chris.
Not yet.
But it is a cold start for Kelly Noseworthy outside in Toronto. That's right. Share your weather. Send me your photos, and I will give you a personalized forecast. Take a look at this one for today. Very Canadian. Holding the shovel. Where is this, might you wonder? Woodstock, New Brunswick for this afternoon. Hunter Brown sent this. This is your forecast, Hunter. We've got a daytime high of -9 in Woodstock. Things definitely calming down compared to yesterday, but we still have some scattered snow flurries and northwest winds sustained at 20 kilometers an hour. By tomorrow, though, temperatures up to -4 with some sunshine. Another great shot in Nova Scotia yesterday during the big epic snowstorm. Whiteout conditions, though, were pretty dangerous. This was in Prince Edward Island. And as we take you to Fredericton, you can see the blowing and the drifting snow. What it did stateside was a lot more impressive. Take a look at this. This was in Boston, where 3 feet of snow fell. It completely impacted travel. And we take you to another shot in the United States. Someone's door completely barricaded in. Our very own Mark Robinson was on the ground stateside talking about the storm that hit the U.S. Tricky travel today across the Maritime provinces, just as cleanup is ongoing. We also got some freezing rain earlier today in places like Halifax. The warning has been dropped, but a little bit is creeping in there and through New Brunswick. And still lots of school closures, late starts as well in parts of Newfoundland, and some events being postponed. We check in right now with Chrissy Van, who's joining us in Moncton, New Brunswick. And Chrissy, how are people dealing with the post-storm cleanup? No, not at all. So close to 40 centimeters of snow in Moncton from yesterday's event. The warning's still in play here. We've got still parts of PEI under a freezing rain warning, blowing snow advisory for the Gaspé Peninsula, as well as freezing rain in through central Newfoundland, and still very strong winds in Newfoundland as well with the blowing snow advisory. Labrador West does have some school closures because of the extreme cold. So a lot is still going on. For Thursday, into Thursday rather, we've got an additional about 5 centimeters for New Brunswick, a little bit more for parts of Nova Scotia, and a lot more for the Northern Peninsula with an additional 10 to 20 centimeters. Temperatures, though, an interesting part of the story. Halifax, you're 2 degrees this afternoon. St. John's, rain and +7. We'll check in with Kelly Noseworthy right now in the city of Toronto, where it's certainly a cold start. Good morning, Canada. Nicole and Chris with you. Some big stories we're following. Let's look at those impressive nor'easter totals. Who saw the most? And another storm is moving in, Chris. So timing on that.
That's right. And the warm streak ending for the west. First, the cold will creep in, and then by the weekend, it's going to blast it.
It certainly will.
All right.
And speaking of blasting, look at this wind in Prince Edward Island yesterday. Whiteout conditions. Can't even see in front of you. So good news is, Chris, a lot of people stayed home.
Absolutely.
So there weren't big reports of collisions coming out of the Maritime provinces. And for today, a lot is still closed because they're still cleaning up. And Chrissy Van is joining us right now in Moncton, New Brunswick, with the latest on the cleanup mode.
in the blizzard of 2015.
Question.
Certainly will. And as we look at what's going on this afternoon, still some more snow across New Brunswick, the freezing rain and mixing just east of Halifax, and more freezing rain today in Newfoundland. That's getting hit a bit harder still.
That's right. And into the evening and overnight, pretty much similar stuff. So maybe another 5, locally 10 centimeters of snow. I want to take it to Grimsby, Ontario. Powdery snow. But for now, Kelly Noseworthy, no snow yet.
Good morning. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. The big storm in Atlantic Canada brought these numbers yesterday. As of 3 a.m., we've counted 39 centimeters for Moncton, 117 kilometer per hour winds, so blowing the snow around. As you can imagine, Sydney, 17 centimeters of snowfall for you, and there's still some more snow to go. There are lots of closures again for today across the Maritime provinces, for Newfoundland as well, a few late starts around Bonavista, and for Labrador, on the west side, we're going about the big storm and it's impacting Canada. It certainly is. Thanks so much, Chrissy, but not as bad. Of course, easier to get around today. Tomorrow will be much improved, and the sun will really come back tomorrow in the east. Now, for Winnipeg, some light snow for you this morning, -2. We're seeing more snow in the Interlake region of Manitoba, where a snowfall warning is in place. Also, north of Saskatoon, a snowfall warning as well for general 10 to 15 centimeters. It's an Alberta clipper moving through very quickly. It has a warm front attached to it, too, so that is pulling in some milder air, especially in northwestern Ontario for this afternoon. So overall, we're looking at the snowfall tonight and then the cold air moving in for tomorrow. You're really going to feel it by the weekend. By Saturday, Regina, your daytime high closer to about -16 degrees. Thursday afternoon. So tomorrow morning still looking pretty good. But by the time you're out the door out the door from work for tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be hitting the Greater Toronto area, eventually Ottawa late tomorrow evening, and then the city of Montreal as well. So Friday morning still a little bit messy between Ottawa Valley and the city of Montreal. How much will we see? Well, in this light blue, it's a general 5 to 10 centimeters. The Essex County region could be getting some freezing rain or ice pellets, and note the heavier amounts in northern Ontario, where places like Wawa have a snowfall warning in place. Coming up,
looks like a lot of fun. You got to embrace winter because it can last a long time.
It certainly can. So a big snow day east side along the eastern seaboard. It was a snow day for us in Atlantic Canada.
Yes.
We'll talk about the totals you've seen so far. A new snowfall system is moving in, and the warm streak is coming to a big halt in the Prairie provinces.
All right.
Let's check in with Chrissy Van right now, who's in Moncton, New Brunswick, with the cleanup story in the east.
So I can handle a little bit of light snowfall.
Good stuff, Chrissy. 41 centimeters in Moncton, 47 in St. John, New Brunswick. So that number just getting adjusted there. And Fredericton's had up to 34 centimeters of snow. So no surprise, schools closed, cleaning up continues.
Yes. So, and lots of events being postponed today.
Yes.
Even in Newfoundland, we had some late starts as well. And for Labrador West Side, some school closures for the extreme cold.
Yeah.
So a lot is going on in the east that's still crippling travel.
Yeah. Highway 330 there, north of Gander, that's like an ice rink, and the Trans-Canada Highway got some advisories around Deer Lake. So there's your watches and warnings continuing for the morning hours. Additional snow, maybe another 5 to 10 centimeters, and on the North Shore, maybe another 10 to 20 centimeters of snow.
That's right. And
Okay.
as we look to the Prairie provinces, this is an Alberta clipper, Chris, that is going to move into Ontario, which takes us to Kelly Noseworthy. No snow for today, Kelly, but it's a fresh start out there. Looking good with the sun coming out, though.
All right, good stuff, Kelly. Snow falling in the southern prairies and central areas, moving into northern Ontario today, 10 to 15 centimeters, and then it's the south's turn.
That's right. So tomorrow afternoon, as you leave work in Toronto, Hamilton, over towards Ottawa, the snow will start to pick up, continuing into Friday morning, especially for the city of Montreal. So Thursday, the big story is in Ontario. So that number could reach close to 45 when all is said and done. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Yes, for you in the east, still some snow falling in northern New Brunswick. That pink popping up is some freezing rain and through central New Brunswick. And for Newfoundland as well, Corner Brook has seen some freezing rain today. Western shores of Newfoundland, we have blowing snow advisories. There's the freezing rain in the dark pink, and all the freezing rain warnings have dropped in Nova Scotia, but still in play for parts of PEI. So we still have travel interrupted in the east, some school closures as well. But joining us in Moncton, New Brunswick is Chrissy Van, where things are much improved compared to yesterday. No, you certainly were, but we're doing a great job with all that active weather. So the additional snowfall just under 5 in through New Brunswick, a little bit more through parts of Nova Scotia, a lot more for the Northern Peninsula with an additional 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. And extreme cold in Labrador today has shut down some schools in the west. So a lot going on in the east still. And look at this, 7 degrees in St. John's for the afternoon, so some light showers for you. Nice day in Montreal, -10. It's cold, but the sun will be out to play. And the sun is outside right now in southern Ontario. Kelly Noseworthy tanning in the city of Toronto. I hope you're wearing your sunscreen. We certainly do. Just get the snow pants on, go for the big walks, and enjoy the sunshine. It's feeling a little bit warmer, too, as we've passed the shortest day of the year. This afternoon, -4 in Toronto, -9 in Ottawa, and look at that. Just doesn't get any sunnier than that. Northern Ontario around Wawa, snowfall warning in place. Places like Thunder Bay over towards the Nickel Belt does have special weather statements for this snow happening today. Then for tomorrow, it sinks towards Cottage Country, Toronto, over towards Ottawa. So the afternoon commute tomorrow will be messy in southern Ontario, and Friday morning for the Ottawa Valley and Montreal. So heads up for that. Northern Ontario today, 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. This is the warning in place for you and your temperature story for the next few days. Nicole Karkic and Jacqueline Whittle with you. Jacqueline will take you through the rest of the morning following these big stories for you, Canada. We've got the impressive nor'easter totals, Jacqueline. Yeah. Another storm system moving in, and let you talk about this.
Yeah, the warm streak finally coming to an end. Dr. Doug and I have, of course, talked about that over the last few weeks, that all good things must come to an end. And so say goodbye to those really extreme warm temperatures and welcome in the cold.
Yes, and as we look to what's happening in eastern Canada, it is, and that's apparently a GoPro on the snowblower.
Oh, cool.
So you get the perspective of exactly what it looks like, in case we don't know what it looks like.
As Canadians, eh? I saw a cute GoPro attached to a dog. I think it was in New York after the storm, running through the snow, and the snow's everywhere. Oh yeah, a lot of fun.
Okay, well, speaking of snow, dogs playing in 41 centimeters in Moncton. Those gusts got up to 117 kilometers an hour. Look at St. John, though, 47 centimeters of snow, Jacqueline, and the warnings that are in place right now.
Yeah, Maritime, we're looking at, looks like the snowfall warning, the blowing snow down through the south, the lower North Shore, and we do still have some winter storm warnings in place.
Exactly, but a huge improvement compared to yesterday. However, the additional snowfall will bring you under 5 centimeters across New Brunswick, parts of Nova Scotia, and Northern Peninsula seeing a little bit more, and there are still lots of closures in the east. We had the Bonavista Vista area had a late start for school. Nova Scotia school closures. Some events I was reading about, too, were just being a little bit postponed. So check on that, because there still is quite a bit of cleanup.
Sure, the United States this past fall, boy, does it look different. You know, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, those areas I was visiting, just getting clobbered with snow and the winds. I mean, there's Cape Cod. Boston picked up 74 centimeters of snow. A lot of talk about, well, New York didn't get the snow that they were thinking, but they did get 30 centimeters. And all it takes is a little shift in track to do that, right? So I think forecasters did a great job with this one.
I agree. So still hit pretty hard. And as we look to the Prairie provinces, Jacqueline, and Alberta Clipper developing today is bringing a quick shot of snow. We have some warnings in place in northern Saskatchewan as well as the Interlake region of Manitoba. A little bit of pink popping up on that radar showing some mixing, the warm front associated with us.
That's right.
So 10 to 15 centimeters in the Interlake region of Manitoba, and then it moves into northern Ontario, Jacqueline.
Yeah, that becomes the next big storm for Ontario. 10 to 15 centimeters for the north. You can see from Dryden through Kapuskasing, maybe a little less for Dryden. But this is the developing low that'll move through not only southern Ontario, but right through to the east coast. Boston has a chance of getting hit yet again, and we'll keep you posted as we track this. Stay with me throughout the morning.
And as you can see, cleanup crews just trying to make the sidewalk come back to life. I mean, if you joined us earlier, I was standing in that massive snow pile at 90-kilometer-per-hour wind gusts. Oh, there we go. So you can see cleanup efforts. Woo! Didn't quite make it up there.
And this is what a nor'easter looks like in PEI, a foot of snow and 90K winds.
And they were cleaning out of nearly 3 feet of snow in parts of the eastern U.S. while we looked back at the snowstorm of 1999 in Toronto.
In the case of the big snowstorm here in Toronto, there weren't enough shovels.
And this is how you embrace winter.
Bullseye. Join us tomorrow, 5:30 a.m.